make some good profits today. Now market left us big clues right here. No surprises in it. Told you to look out for the buying continuation and dig deep closer to the 5-day. There is a trick here. I will show you that. We crossed that magenta and carried on in this green. Take a look. Penny perfect. This is not good enough, because I will show you on the 1-minute chart how much more penny perfect it is. And I want you to watch out for this very important level. There's one level here, very important. One important level here, one important level here, before you wrap up the week for Thanksgiving weekend. So let's take a look first. 1-minute chart. Very importantly, the identification of that teal algorithm here. Now this was at 10:32. Now you already saw teal building liquidity here. Take a look. Penny perfect here. And all you had to do, wait for the teal to start building more liquidity here on the build up in that orange. Just take a look. It's forming exactly as it is. And most importantly, seeing this pink algorithm building more liquidity. Now at this point here, you have to wait for that shoulder to start forming. You see pink building more liquidity on that shoulder right there. Now just take a look for yourself. It's penny perfect. As long as you're able to identify the algorithms, this becomes very straightforward for you to take a trade right there. Now, very importantly, you cannot have the mindset that I can just take calls, ride it through the day. Many problems with that, especially if you're trading options. Now, firstly, you shouldn't have that trading habit where you are taking a 6-point drawdown right here. This is just not good trading. This will wipe you out before the market can even recover your profits. So you have to learn to identify structure. And in this case, there's no need to chase this, because thereafter you will see how the teal was building liquidity there, isn't it? Now, and secondly, if you're the type that starts to just throw a trade early in the day before you identify liquidity building, you're most likely taking something that's way out of the money. And you realize, even though directionally you can be correct, well, you may not even make money, because you do not understand the importance of timing in a 0-day to expiry options. Now at this point here, there's this very important timing where I mentioned at 11:37 here. I said there is a 11:37, right, isn't it? Which is about here. I mentioned there is a bullish control. The bulls are already controlling this because we identified the pink algorithm, right? And this was at 10:32, remember? 10:32, which was here. We identified this structure already at 10:32. I talked about the bullish control here, and just take a look. It just went up absolutely beautiful all the way to your 20-day moving average, and taking another leg up here with the exact same pink algorithm. So once you're able to identify the pink, this becomes absolutely easy. And this is in conjunction with the 30-minute chart, as you see. And remember, you can watch yesterday's video. There will be a link later at the end of the video here at this part, right? And I talked about how waiting for it to dig deep a little bit, 5-day moving average to catch up as well. So there you have it. Absolutely beautiful. Now, very importantly as well, you need to understand using the algorithms to learn when not to short this. I talked about this here. I mentioned if it doesn't go into that magenta here, and I drew it perfect, penny perfect here, let the algorithm speak to you instead. And you notice I drew this yellow algorithm here. This was drawn at 10:48, right? And 10:48 was right here. Once we had that bounce here, 10:48. So even though we had some selling, you take a look, it bounced off that liquidity level. Absolutely perfect. And I mentioned you have to wait for magenta and yellow. And I talked about this particular zone here. If it doesn't enter into this, and just take a look, the chart has not even entered the magenta and the yellow algorithm here. No, you do not short this until you see structure at the perfect, penny perfect algorithms that already have shown itself. If you're trading with a bias, if you're trading and forcing your will onto the market, you will find out the hard way. And that's the thing. If you are able to have the algorithms to the point that they provide you the guidance on taking a trade, and you still force your mind onto the market instead of allowing the market to reveal itself, then your problem is more than just trading. You have to learn to have greater clarity of mind, and it means to be more observant and to be able to read the market better, more than forcing a trade onto the market, forcing your will onto the market. So understand this is very important, right? Especially magenta, all the way to the 20-day moving average. The magenta was untested at all. This particular zone here was untested at all, especially as well the yellow algorithm right there. So understand this. So you see, the algorithms can teach you as well on when not to take a trade. So you have to learn to identify this and not just be so dependent on signals, because remember, signals will ruin you. That's not the proper way to trade. And today, if you took a signal, say just take calls for example, now you're rotting your brain every single day with bad habits. You're not putting it to proper training. And you cannot make good money in the long run like that, because one day that signal will ruin you and you have no idea why. Now, this particular trade here, just one day like that, very tight stops as you can see, almost penny perfect with the risk. I managed to make right here $12,000, and if you understood this, this is 4x from my original sum of money, which is about 3,000. I started 3,000. It's just a small account here, and you see how beautiful it is. I didn't intend to trade too much today as we approach Thanksgiving, but it's absolutely beautiful as long as you understand how to be looking out for structure. And this came with almost no drawdown, because you learn how to manage your risks, protect your trades, have a position, a winning position, in order to enjoy continuation structure. In this case, magenta was the money-making algorithm today, together with the pink. And when you can understand that, instead of, well, some of you take $20,000 risk in order to make 10,000. Does that even make sense? And this is the power of trading 0 day to expiry. If you are able to learn how to use the algorithms, and most importantly, manage your risks. Even with a small account, you can multiply it, because you do not worry about massive drawdowns and you're truly working on your risk to rewards. It's very different when you're taking trades with very little drawdown, comparably with taking a call here, suffering a 6-point drawdown, and then getting lucky because the market bailed you out. Now, if you're in the market for more than 15 minutes without protecting your trade, you are literally gambling, because the market is always building liquidity and has no idea where it's going until liquidity is built. So if you're just punting for a direction, hoping for the market to bail you out, you will get into trouble one day, and I will see you watching my videos again one day, even though you made money today. You always have to remember that. Now, I have some resources, free resources in the description. Even if you join the Patreon, you don't have to pay money to join the Patreon. There are free resources available. So don't be worried about the money, because you don't have to spend money to join anything. The YouTube videos are free. You can watch it every day. You read the comments, you see people watch me every single day, and they pick up the skill that way too. Now, hard work will pay dividends. Your hard work will be honored. And when you make money, you can join, no problem, and accelerate your learning even faster, because there's a lot more to learn. So take your time. This journey is one that I will walk with you regardless. So take your time. Let's walk together at your own pace. Don't worry about it. Now let's take a look at the 30-minute chart right now. Where do we go from here? Now at this point, you have to understand, Thanksgiving is Thursday, so the market's closed. Friday's half day. Volume will be historically low. There's only once or twice every 10 years that there will be big moves on Black Friday on Friday. So historically, it's fine. It's going to be all right. It's going to be low volume. But at this point here now, you don't see tapering, isn't it? As I mentioned, if we want to see tapering, that orange will start grabbing more liquidity here. So at this point, there are a few key levels you have to look out for. Now, the first will be your 5-day moving average. That will be your SPY 5-day. I want you to pay close attention to the Q's 5-day, which will be approximately this location here, the SPY 20-day. And lastly, the QQQ 20-day moving average, which will be close to this green level here. So these are the 4 levels you have to pay close attention tomorrow. At this point in time, barring the pre-market action, SPY is now in between the 20-day of SPY and the 20-day of the QQQ. So if this wants to continue heading up in this continuation structure, and you see how today we had some form of tapering before we grab more liquidity on the way up. The same can happen here. We can continue to trend up in that green. That's the best, and retest 20-day moving average of QQQ quickly, or we can taper and continue grinding up in that orange as well. So these are known as your buying continuation structure. And this is a continuation structure already that's formed from the break of the magenta from that inverse head and shoulder pattern there. So you just have to be more mindful. If it wants to continue grinding up, it absolutely can. You can't stop it. So you have to be more careful about taking a trade here. Now, however, you see 20-day moving average started forming some sort of liquidity here. I want to chart a yellow rhythm here as well. So you have to pay close attention, especially if we retest Q 20-day moving average and you see a rejection here. Any rejection, you wait for the yellow rhythm. Taking a look at the 1-minute chart here, this is where you see the yellow starting to form that liquidity here. You see that liquidity here. So if you want to be looking out for some sort of, rejection of range from the 20-day moving average, this is the liquidity you pay close attention to near the 674 level. That's here. If we continue grinding up, as I told you, in that green and orange, you just have to be more careful. Right, orange is all right. I think the confirmation is better if we taper with the yellow here. So pay close attention to that tomorrow, especially if we do retest this particular green rhythm where the QQQ 20-day moving average will be. A larger dump, wait for that 666 and 664 yellow. 664 yellow, it's better. So wait for that, because by then you would see 5-day moving average trending to where the orange rhythm is, grabbing that liquidity on the way down right there. So look out for that range, especially between your 670 yellow and 664 yellow. This range here, together with the 5-day moving average and that orange rhythm grabbing this particular liquidity here. This will be quite important, especially if the market wants to head down. Now, by then you will see several things. First, you will see 20-day turn into resistance. You will see QQQ 5-day turn into resistance. And lastly, SPY 5-day forming resistance as part of the structure, breaking out of that orange rhythm there. Now, please trade safe for Wednesday. Thursday, it's a trading holiday, and Friday will be very low volume. So you have to be very tactical on Friday if you're trading that. But otherwise, I would suggest you call it an early weekend tomorrow after your first trade before noon time. Just call it a day, right? You have to be very defensive. We can leave this for next week. Now, we'll be uploading my schedule for the rest of the week as well as over the Thanksgiving weekend. I intend to do another live stream just to chat on this weekend, as well as provide some training materials for you to study over Thanksgiving weekend. So do watch out for my schedule. I will be posting them on YouTube and Discord and Patreon. So please do join. It's free. You can join for free. The link is below. So you always stay updated to any resources that I post. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you closer to opening bell.